Good morning, everyone. Hopefully your day's off to a great start so far. And as always, thanks for joining us on our streaming platforms for your latest update on this round of winter weather that is expected to continue to amplify as we head through the rest of today, as well as into this evening and into the night tonight. And so as of right now, across a good portion of East Texas, we've got all of these counties that you see in pink that are currently under a winter storm warning. That does include Anderson County in Palestine, as well as parts of Henderson, Van Zant counties, including Athens, Canton, Rains County, and Emory, Sulphur Springs, and Hopkins County, as well as portions of the I-20 corridor, including Smith County, as well as Wood and Upshur counties in Gilmer, Mineola, Camp County. You're under a winter storm warning, and we've also got winter storm warnings currently in effect throughout Franklin, Titus, and Morris counties. Off to the north and east, that's a winter weather advisory for Cass County and Linden. And the difference between winter storm warning and winter weather advisory, which is between the pinks and the purples, is essentially going to be the difference in how much ice we see accumulate by the time we get to the end of this event. So regardless of where you are across the region, all these counties that you see in pink here in East Texas, and even the winter weather advisory in blue, all of these are in effect until Wednesday morning at 6 o'clock. So as we head through the rest of today, we're going to gradually see our opportunity for winter weather continue to increase. As of right now, here's a look at CBS 19 radar. We've got a few areas dealing with some freezing rain, and then other portions of the region where the rain is starting to transition into freezing rain due to the colder air that we have. And on our CBS 19 radar product, I dropped the reflectivity so we'd be able to pick up on more of these amounts and more of these areas where we would be able to keep an eye out if the activity is frozen or if it's liquid. And you'll notice that this is very, very light. This is not going to be very substantial heavy rain or heavy freezing rain. It won't pick up until later on. So again, very light rain or light freezing rain at this time. And throughout the I-30 corridor, we're locked in with clouds. We've got some portions of I-30, including places such as Sulphur Bluff, just dealing with some freezing rain. You folks throughout northern Franklin, Titus, and Morris counties as well, picking up on some light freezing rain at times. That continues throughout Argo, Mount Pleasant, Mount Vernon. I think we could see some patchy freezing drizzle at this moment, but for right now, very thick cloud cover out there, maybe again some frozen mist or drizzle to deal with at times, but certainly nothing that is super duper substantial across the region. Now, a little farther to the south, we do have pockets of Smith County right along Interstate 20, including places such as Lindale, Winona, south of Hawkins, that are picking up on some areas where we have got some freezing rain at this moment. And this is just to the north of Tyler where you're seeing these pinks. This indicates where we've got some freezing rain. Again, not super heavy, but certainly something that you would notice falling if you were out and about throughout today. And this includes moving westward towards Van, as well as near Canton and Grand Saline, where we're also dealing with some freezing rain. A little farther to the east into parts of Gregg County, as well as into Harrison County. Not substantial freezing rain, maybe some freezing drizzle at times, but the farther east you go towards Louisiana, certainly the warmer it is and more likely that you have a mix of rain or freezing rain. Like we have throughout parts of Cherokee and Anderson counties, you can see that farther to the west near Bradford, Frankston, Tennessee Colony, there's more likely to be some freezing rain instead of rain. And then you move into Cherokee County near Jacksonville, and it's mixed in at times, and that's simply because temperatures are just ever so slightly warmer near Jacksonville, Flint, and Troop as well. All of these areas throughout Cherokee County, likely a cold rain, and at times temperatures are able to support freezing rain or freezing drizzle mixing in with the cold rain that we have. That even includes Rusk, where you can see that you folks in Rusk likely picking up a little bit of freezing rain and rain mix. And then farther to the south there throughout Alto, Elkhart, likely just a cold rain. And again, maybe at times we see a little bit of freezing rain mixing in there here and there. Now throughout deep East Texas, well above freezing, thank goodness. And that means that for now, just a cold rain. all throughout Nacogdoches County near Garrison, Nacogdoches itself, Lufkin, throughout Angelina County, just a cold rain. Farther to the east, just a cold rain. Throughout San Augustine, Broadus, Hemp Hill, near the Toledo Bend, all of these areas, just a cold rain right now. And as a matter of fact, I think for Deep East Texas, this entire event, or most of the event, will be enough above freezing that there will be no type of frozen precipitation to worry about, which is some fantastic news. For now, our real areas that we're keeping a very close eye out for ice accumulations are going to be where I just showed you, where the winter storm warnings are currently in effect along into the north and west of Smith County, right around the I-20 corridor. So we're going to continue to see activity build in across the region as we head through these next couple of hours, and we'll gradually see coverage become more widespread. We've already got some reports out of the Metroplex, especially near Fort Worth, where cars have been driving and falling off the roadways because they've been too slick to maneuver. Even farther to the north and west, where you see these areas of purple towards the Panhandle, this is actually sleet. If you look closely, you can see some lightning bolts on CBS 19 radar where there's been some thunder sleet. So certainly we have just enough energy to work with that rumbles of thunder out to the west are possible. I'd say I can't entirely rule out some rumbles of thunder here in East Texas, but likely just a cold rain, or if you live in our western counties, throughout Smith County, Wood and Upshur counties, a cold freezing rain that at times tries to just liquefy itself and become more of just a cold rain rather than freezing rain. So as we look out from our CBS 19 studio camera, the vision looks a little bit better than what it did earlier this morning, and I'll take you on a tour throughout our weather camera network. Visibility is low. We've got some thick cloud cover, and across much of the region, that's where we are dealing with some freezing rain, cold rain as well. I'm going to switch over to our Tyler camera, which has actually been dealing with some drizzle and mist all throughout a good portion of this morning. And it looks like it's parts of the camera lens have maybe attempted to freeze over here, but more so just drizzle and mist causing for difficult viewing conditions. You can see that right on the forefront of this camera lens, where we've had activity at least glaze over ever so slightly, and off in the distance, just thick clouds, mist, and drizzle to deal with as well. And then I'll switch over to our Nacogdoches camera, and you'll notice with that's where we had more of cold temperatures still, but certainly definitely no freezing rain in Nacogdoches, which is always some good news, but we still have some cold rain moving through at times. Actually, as a matter of fact, it's raining as we speak in Nacogdoches. If you look closely, you can see the rain towards the forefront of the camera lens, and then low visibility of mist and drizzle and thick clouds off in the distance. So I know some of us had some questions as to what they can expect throughout this event. So I'm going to briefly reset here. We'll go back to CBS 19 radar, and we will talk about what we can expect here, and we've got some comments that I'm going to go through, and I'll be able to answer. I'll try and answer as many of these as I can, but of course a lot of these are going to be generally speaking about the same. So here we go, 5 comments so far. Lynn asking Henderson, Texas. So in Henderson right now, just a cold rain. Maybe, and I mean maybe, there could be some trace accumulations that we pick up in Henderson, but I think for the most part, you folks in Henderson will be fine from this event. Currently under no type of weather watch or warning at all. And right now, just some cold rain that appears to be moving through. Of course, Lynn, if that's different, please let me know. What can Crockett expect? So Crockett is currently not under a winter storm warning, and Houston County isn't either. And as of right now, I think in Crockett, you're probably picking up some light rain, maybe some light drizzle as well. As far as the frozen activity, that's more so to the north and west, where temperatures are just a little bit colder. Throughout parts of Anderson County as well. You can see near Palestine where we've got a little bit of frozen drizzle to deal with at times, but for the most part throughout Crockett, A-OK right now. So getting a few more comments here. Let me go full screen so I can pick up and read everyone's comments. So we've got Henderson, Crockett, Longview right now. Longview in a pretty good shape. As a matter of fact, no winter storm warning in effect throughout Gregg County. Longview maybe picking up on some light drizzle at times that you can see on CBS 19 radar. For the most part, all pretty good shape right now in Gregg County and in Longview. Again, maybe in Gregg County we pick up at least maybe a very trace amounts of ice, and that would be as we head into tomorrow. But I think for the most part, though, Gregg County should be okay from any more substantial totals of ice across East Texas. Gilmer. So Gilmer and throughout Upshur County is under a winter storm warning where temperatures are going to be a little bit colder, which means we could support more accumulations of ice. And throughout parts of Upshur County and around Gilmer right now, you folks in Gilmer, you're picking up some freezing drizzle, I think mixed in with some liquid drizzle. And at times, this will pick up this afternoon into more of a freezing rain, and we could see some totals that are a little more substantial as far as accumulations of ice are concerned. So Sissy is asking about Edom, and Edom is in Van Zant County, and throughout Van Zant County, it's likely that, well, for one, there is a winter storm warning that's in effect, and I think Van Zant County is more likely to have more substantial totals of ice accumulations. And as of right now, it looks like Van Zant County is picking up on some freezing rain, freezing drizzle. All of the activity at this point is frozen, and over the next few hours, especially if temperatures are able to sit right around 28 or 29 degrees, that's where we're going to start to see the possibility of accumulations begin, and from there, those continue into the night tonight, as well as into the early parts of Tuesday and even into Wednesday morning. So we're getting some, thank you again for sharing all your comments and for watching this morning. And across much of the region, we're just gradually going to see this activity move from southwest to northeast. And as it taps into the colder air, that is where we're going to start to see some more totals and more potential for ice accumulations. Again, a good portion of the region right now, activity very, very light. And as a matter of fact, for the most part, activity is going to stay light. So we'll go ahead and skip ahead here through the cameras that I was just showing you. And I want to show you the temperatures across the region so you can kind of get an idea of where we have a better opportunity to see freezing rain or accumulations of ice as we head into the afternoon. So where we've got our winter storm warnings in effect, Upshur, Wood County, temperatures at and below freezing. Tyler, just above freezing, but still even at 33 and 34 degrees, we can have frozen precipitation falling. Just doesn't necessarily mean it's sticking quite yet. Throughout Cherokee County, 31 degrees. And for parts of the region that aren't under any type of weather warning as we speak right now, there is a possibility that they could be added a little bit later once the event starts to ramp up. So Longview, 34 degrees, A-OK right now. Henderson, 37, well above freezing. Well above freezing in Nacogdoches, where it's 37 as well. Even some 40s throughout parts of deep East Texas. Center, 41 right now. San Augustine, 43 degrees. And then the farther west you go, cold temperatures sitting right around 30 degrees in Canton, Emory, Sulphur Springs, 32 right now in Athens, 32 in Palestine. So certainly where we have these temperatures that are right at or 1 or 2 degrees above freezing, these are the spots that we'll keep an eye out for, especially once we get into the afternoon, for the possibility of some ice to begin to accumulate. And from there, roadways would become a concern. And we'd also have to watch out for some black ice, as well as, roads, overpasses, bridges, all becoming inundated with a thin layer of ice. So that's something that we'll keep a close eye out for. And I want to kind of walk you through the rest of this event, and then we'll be wrapping up here in a little bit as we get ready for our 12 o'clock show. But here's future skycast this morning, and you can notice where we've got the rain-snow mix, and it's going to be a very fine line. And I mean, when you're talking winter weather, a ½ degree to a degree makes all the difference in the world, as if to whether you're going to get rain or if you're going to get freezing rain. And you'll notice as we walk through future skycasts that a simple mere few to tens of miles can make the difference in your county if you're dealing with rain or if you're dealing with a freezing rain. Now, I think this particular version of future skycasts, the rain, freezing rain line, a little far west. I wouldn't be surprised to see it move farther east as we head into this afternoon as well as this evening, but you'll notice that activity remains pretty scattered as we head throughout the day today, this evening, and into the night tonight. Activity remaining scattered. It's by tomorrow morning where we'll start to see activity become a little more widespread across the region, especially as we head into the afternoon. Again, this freezing rain line, it's going to shift west to east as we head throughout this event. But I think in this particular version of Future Skycast, it should be a little farther into our neck of the woods in places like Mineola, Canton, Athens, Tyler as well, picking up on some rain and freezing rain, and that'll continue as we head throughout tomorrow afternoon as well. Widespread rain likely at times. It will be freezing rain depending on, again, where we see the colder air set up. We're going to see this freezing rain transition line bounce back and forth as we get some colder air to usher into the region. And this continues through tomorrow night, and even as we wake up on Wednesday morning, we're going to continue to deal with some widespread heavy rain across much of the region and a very fine transition from cold rain moving farther to the west. You'll see some opportunities for freezing rain. So that continues as we head into the early parts of Wednesday morning. The good news is I think by lunchtime in the early afternoon on Wednesday, our air mass is going to start to warm up a little bit. And that means that it'll slowly eat away at the rain transition line. And by the afternoon on Wednesday, I think many of us are just going to have a cold rain to deal with. At worst, our western counties, Sulphur Springs, Emory, Canton, Athens, maybe picking up a little more freezing rain Wednesday afternoon and Wednesday evening. But for the most part, I think many of us are just going to have to deal with the cold rain once we get to the end of Wednesday, and from there make our way into Thursday. So once we get into the latter parts of today, that's where we'll have the opportunity to begin to see some more accumulations of ice. So we are using our Futurecast ice accumulation. By this afternoon, we're already starting to see in our western counties, out towards the Metroplex, some trace to light accumulations of ice. That could even be throughout parts of Smith County at this point as well, maybe even throughout parts of Upshur and Kent counties, that we could start to see some accumulations of ice as early as this afternoon. And notice as we head into the night tonight, as we get more freezing rain, we start to see these totals really pick up. Close to midnight, we could already be talking about a couple tenths of an inch to almost a quarter of an inch of ice around Van Zant County, Mineola as well, close to that in Athens and Henderson County. And these totals will continue to slowly climb as we head throughout tonight and into the early parts of Tuesday morning. Noticing by Tuesday morning, still a tenth to 2/10 of an inch of ice throughout Smith County at this point, still Henderson, Van Zant counties, Rains County, Wood County, even Upshur, Camp, Titus, Franklin, Morris counties at this point, picking up on ice accumulations, and that continues as well into tomorrow afternoon. And notice how the totals will continue to grow tomorrow night. By Wednesday morning, they'll start to flatten out for many of us. And I think at this point, this is pretty well in line with where we have winter storm warnings in effect. Now, Cherokee County, not under a winter storm warning or advisory. I would not be surprised if we saw Cherokee, Rusk, or Gregg counties added into either a winter weather advisory or a winter storm warning as we begin to see this event amplify. But really where we have the warnings in place right now, that's going to be the main threat. So again, Smith County into Van Zant County, Henderson counties as well, almost a ½ inch of ice. This is just one particular version of future skycasts or future ice accumulations, but still gives us an idea that we're going to have more significant totals of ice out to our west and towards the Metroplex. And by the time we get into Wednesday afternoon, we might pick up a little more ice in Canton or Emory or Athens or Sulphur Springs. But at that point, we start to see our air mass get a little bit warmer. And from there, we start to see our ice accumulations move out farther to the Metroplex. For the rest of us, I mean, look, Deep East Texas, you're all good this entire time. I even think throughout parts of Gregg County, just trace amounts of ice, maybe even in Rusk County as well as Cherokee County. But again, eastern counties, way too warm. Deep East Texas, way too warm. And by Wednesday night and into Thursday, our air mass does start to warm on up to where it's not going to be so bad. And from there, we're going to have some pretty great weather once we get into the weekend. So all in all, we'll take a look at your 7-day forecast. We'll do a little bit of a recap of radar before we go here. But again, freezing rain really starts to pick up during the second half of today, and we continue to deal with freezing rain at times throughout tomorrow, Wednesday morning as well. I think once we get into Wednesday afternoon, that's where we're gradually going to start to transition from the freezing rain back to just a cold, clammy, dreary rain. Now Thursday, we still got rounds of rain to deal with, but notice temperatures are going to start to climb into the upper 30s and low 40s, so it's going to be much warmer on Thursday in the sense that it won't be able to support freezing rain across the region, and thank goodness we start to get our clouds out of here. Check out Friday. That's going to be a perfect day. Sunshine, 50s, still cool, but we'll take the sunshine whenever we can get it. Mid and upper 50s on Saturday, and we'll be into the 60s on Sunday. So we'll go back and do one last recap of CBS 19 radar before we go here and get reset for the noon show. If you're joining us a little late and you want another recap, well, make sure you join us live on CBS 19 at 12 o'clock, and I will be walking through, again, radar, and we'll talk about some of what we can expect with this event as we head through the rest of the day. So activity starting to become a little more widespread, certainly across parts of East Texas where we're seeing some potentials for some freezing drizzle. That includes the I-30 corridor, the more substantial freezing rain. This is a little farther to the north, very light, but certainly you folks in Sulphur Springs or around Sulphur Springs and Hopkins County probably can notice the freezing rain. I think throughout Franklin, Titus, Morse, and Camp counties, probably freezing drizzle at this point, maybe a little bit of liquid drizzle, but certainly not anything heavy falling at the moment. Farther to the south, northern Smith County, that's where the transition line is currently set up. You can see we're closer to the Metroplex. We've got some freezing rain near Lindale, Mineola, Hawkins, closer to Winona, Gladewater, more so freezing rain that at times is also a liquid cold rain. So that's going to be moving back and forth. And again, this fluctuates west to east depending on how our temperature is. And even throughout Smith County near Tyler, Browning, White House, Troop, you can see where the rain is transitioning at times into a freezing rain. Colder temperatures in Henderson County as well as northern Anderson County near Frankston, Bradford, Tennessee Colony. You're picking up on some freezing rain farther to the south, Palestine, Elkhart. Cold rain, maybe at times it mixes into a freezing rain. And then throughout Cherokee counties near Rusk as well as Jacksonville, it's a cold rain that at times is transitioning into a freezing rain. So we could be mixing in here and there some frozen precipitation with this cold rainfall. And then remember, temperatures in deep East Texas, some of us even in the 40s, which means that this is just all liquid and all cold. Lufkin, Diboll, Zavala, Broadus, just a cold rain. Nacogdoches, Garrison Center, just a cold rain. St. Augustine, Broadus, Hemphill as well. Throughout Sabine County, just a cold rain. Temperatures way too warm to support any frozen precipitation. So we're going to continue to see this gradually build up in coverage as we head through the afternoon. I would not be surprised if we get some more substantial and more heavier freezing rain once we get into the second half of the day. And that's something that we're going to continue to keep a close eye out for here in the CBS 19 Weather Center. So for myself here in the Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Chandlor Jordan. If you joined us late on this, make sure that you join us at noon. I'll be walking all through CBS 19 radar. We'll show you the latest data, including ice accumulations and what to expect through the rest of this event and when we'll dry out and return to sunshine. It's going to be a few days, but certainly it'll be worth it as we head into Friday. And if you missed the noon show because you've got some errands to run or you're busy right now, make sure you join us later on tonight. Chief Meteorologist Brett Anthony, he'll be live at 5, 6, 6:30, and 10. And he'll have your latest forecast. At that point, rain and freezing rain will become a little more widespread. And from there, we'll just keep a close eye out on things across the region as we head into tomorrow and Wednesday morning for the possibility of some ice accumulations. If we get any more winter storm warnings, we'll keep you posted on those. But for now, again, out of the CBS 19 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Chandlor Jordan. Thanks for joining. Thanks for watching. And we'll see you in about 27 minutes live on CBS 19 with your latest winter weather forecast and updates. Stay safe out there.